Welcome back, everybody, to the Siro Sales Academy powered by Grosso University. I'm Dominic Caminata. Again, I'm joined back here in the studio with Joe Jordan and Dan Coomes-Barry. One of the most important elements of building a sales powerhouse is having a professional and comprehensive training experience that all salespeople need to go through. The sales training should be detailed, it should be competitive and difficult. I always like to refer to it as a path of resistance to ensure that all reps are properly equipped for the challenges of this profession. Again, this job is not for everybody. It's not for the faint of heart. We got to make sure these salespeople have realistic training expectations so they can go long-headed into battle and execute every single day. Siro is absolutely changing the game of sales training and making this initial onboarding experience far more interactive and powerful than ever before. In this course, we're going to discuss how Siro can be a foundational tool for world-class sales training and how the top companies in the nation are consistently building apex level teams. So I just want to make this point clear that your sales training should not be easy. Make it difficult, make it comprehensive, and ultimately you want to make sure the sales reps are trained on realistic scenarios. And unless I have that training and onboarding experience be that path of resistance, be challenging, and make sure I'm weaving in all these different scenarios so my salespeople are in those challenging situations, they can deliver an intelligent response to that challenge without thinking.
Confidence doesn't come from believing it's going to be easy.
Yes.
Confidence comes from believing in yourself.
Correct.
And knowing that you're prepared and you're ready. And at the end of the day, if there's someone who's going to quit because of a training that's quote unquote difficult, you probably didn't want to launch them in the first place.
Totally.
And all you're going to do is discourage the people who are A players. This stuff is so easy.
Yeah.
They repeated this 3 times already, right? And now they're disengaged and they don't feel like this is a high performance endeavor worth investing in. And so that's what happens if you take the opposite approach.
So first, I want to make sure I'm recruiting the right people. Make sure I have a decent vetting process. I'm not going to just do a fog the mirror test. If you can fog a mirror, you're hired. I want to make sure these people are cut out for it, that they have what it takes. And of course, once they get into the training, and Dan can tell you, day one especially, I really laid it on thick, the reality of this job, that it's going to have a lot of late nights, you're going to be working 12-hour days, driving all over no man's land, getting hit with constant no and objection and negative forces bombarding you from all directions. You're going to have to master this and get a 90% proficiency on the test. This is going to be the hardest training you've ever received. And then occasionally I'd have reps to step out to lunch and they don't come back day one. And that's good, because then the people that are left standing are the ones that I know are mentally prepared to go to war with me and are cut out for this, are going to put in the effort.
Hey closers, it's Dan Coomes-Barry from Grosso University. I'm the sales trainer who runs our monthly Sales Academy Masterclass, where we walk you through our 11-step process for in-home sales in the home improvement industry. This process is perfect for salespeople of any level of experience, whether you're green coming right into the field or you've been doing this for 30 years. We promise you that you're going to learn something that you can take out that day and help you close business. From my personal experience, I know that many homeowners that you talk to are looking to work with a credible expert who is knowledgeable, but they don't like being sold. The beautiful part about this process is it can be tailored for any personality type, any problem you may run into, and we're going to go through this in such a detail-oriented manner that you'll be prepared for any situation. From walking up and knocking on the door all the way through buttoning up the deal, we will teach you the nuanced art form that is one call closing. This is a skill set that helped me make multiple 6-figure income for years and years, and now, because I get to sit on this side of the camera, I get to pass that skill set along to you. I hope you're up to the task, because I'll tell you, this is a 145-page book that we train over a 2-week span. It is coupled with our 11-part video series that's broken down so it's easy to digest. No matter what type of learner you are, we accommodate you. Now, at the end of our 2-week training process, you will have to pass a final exam, and it's not easy. You'll have to score at least an 85% on this final exam in order to become a certified sales warrior through the Grosso University program. And that's where the hard work begins. But if you're up to the task and you want to make life-changing money and cultivate a skill set that will permeate into all areas of your life, I invite you to join me in the Sales Academy Masterclass. We have classes that start on the second Monday of every month. then I look forward to seeing you in class. And as always here at Grosso University, yes, you are a closer.
I actually believe personally, again, I'm not the greatest teacher of all time, but I feel like if all your students fail, it's the teacher that failed.
I always remind these guys as well that since there is a turn and burn model in this industry, once you've gotten 6 months to a year experience under your belt in the home improvement industry, you are now a seasoned vet.
Yeah.
Where most of the people you're going up against from your competitors, they were selling insurance last month. They were selling cars 2 months ago. So you can become an expert very quickly if you utilize your time properly. Confidence, for me anyway, comes from competence. The more I know, the more answers I have to the test before I get hit with them, the more confident I feel. These homeowners know nothing about what you're selling, and they ask very predictable questions. If you know the answer like that, you're like, holy crap, this guy knows the answer to everything. We should hire him.
Now, how does Siro weave into this whole thing? You can actually use Siro to give them real-world best practices from top performers that you already have, give them shiny examples in the initial training and onboarding, and top companies, what they're doing is they're using Siro to give that salesperson an assignment. So after you read through the training book, you watch the training video, I want you to go on Siro and record yourself actually delivering that step in the sales process. So the salesperson from day one, every single day, they're getting these assignments where they're using Siro actively. First thing it does, it gets them comfortable using the technology as part of their job. And when it ends up happening, when they get out of the training, they have the system, they have all the training, and they have this technology. It's all intertwined as one collective training experience, which is absolutely powerful. The next thing it does is that salesperson has this recording of themselves. They can now begin the process of fine-tuning their communication skills. So as they're getting assignments every single day, they're getting recognized, they're getting the recordings on Siro, they're fine-tuning their communication. By the time they get to the finish line, they've already documented 8, 12 hours recording themselves, listening to themselves. If you assemble all these recordings together, they pretty much have a full sales encounter from start to finish now on record. And that in itself becomes not only a foundation they can build upon, but also a form of lane assist for that salesperson. So again, there's so many benefits here, but it's also a great accountability tool because I can track and monitor who's doing the recordings, who's not, who's documenting the proper amount of time using the app. So even in the initial onboarding and training phase, if someone's pushing back on that a little bit, now I can hold them accountable, hold their feet to the fire, and let them know the importance of this for their long-term success in this job. Now, every company is different in terms of how they do the final exam. Obviously, there's a lot of things, but I think a great part of the final exam would be to have the sales rep record themselves doing a full sales encounter on Siro, have it documented on there with a certain level of compliance. We're looking for a certain amount of consistency following this system in order to graduate, because that's ultimately going to put the whole puzzle together for them. It's going to be the ultimate way to make sure they're going in the right direction before we issue them leads independently. The great thing about Siro is you can see a common theme with all these courses. Whether you're talking about your initial onboarding and training experience, whether you're talking about field management, ride-alongs, or you're talking about sales meetings, the salesperson themselves being able to fine-tune their skills and the windshield time from lead to lead, turn their car into their mobile library. Siro is there literally every step of the way from beginning to end, and all it's doing is empowering sales coaches and sales professionals to take their skills to the next level.
Well, I'll just tell you from personal experience, it takes a lot of the stress out of the job for me, and I know it takes a lot of the stress out of the job for the sales rep. A lot of people that I work with feel a certain way about interaction with a leader. They get nervous. Like you said, they get that brain fog. And if they have the opportunity to actually dissect what truly happened in an appointment and then role play it on their own, they can perfect that recording before they send it to me so I can give them feedback of their absolute best message. Be like, hey, I love everything you did there. I can see the amount of time you put into it. It's more a collaborative way of coaching with people. And we just didn't have the technology to do that before.
I want to ask your opinion on this. So we got some companies that leverage our online training platform 2 weeks prior to the salesperson coming in for the in-person training. So right when they hire the salesperson, they give them access to the virtual online training. They have to go through all that training, take all the quizzes and a final exam before they can qualify to come in for the in-person training. What if Siro was also bolted onto something like that, where they had to watch the videos online, read the training methodology, take the quizzes, and then also record on Siro before they even step foot into the training day one?
With all of these sections, there's kind of one big takeaway where if you just do that one thing, you'll get 80% of the results. The onboarding section, it's really about getting reps recording as early as possible, because yes, it makes them comfortable with it when they go out into the field. There's no objection. It's just how they've always done it. They don't know anything different other than recording themselves. I think a lot of people can only learn by doing. They can only learn by getting the rep in, and it's better to get the rep in a safe environment, make the mistakes on a fake customer than on a real customer. And ultimately, the faster you learn the lyrics, the faster you can add your own music, right? What I talk about with reps early is that they learn to play the cards before they started playing the man. And you can't skip that step. You want to get to playing the man as quickly as possible, because that's where the real magic and the real results start to happen. But you have to learn the cards first. It has to be second nature before you can start paying attention to the nonverbal cues from the customer. But that's how you get through that process the quickest, and that's why I think having them record as early as possible is the number one thing. Now, there are some other things I'll just share too really quickly. Second is when you're explaining a best practice, one of the things that helps with Siro, use data to back up the why. And people don't understand why. I can get up there and explain, but at the end of the day, it helps to just say, look, here are the top reps. They do this in 100% of their appointments. Here are these people anonymously, maybe, that aren't doing well. They're not doing it. That's it, right? And that's how I'm building belief in the system that's going to increase compliance down the line. Second thing you can do with Siro is, obviously we've talked about this, layer in the examples of how a top rep does it. Because I can get up there and role play. There's two potential problems with that. One is, no matter how hard I try when role playing something, it's going to sound different in front of a room than in front of a customer in the home. Number two, some people may be turned off just by my style. If you can show 2 or 3 examples of top reps doing the same lyrics with a little bit different music, now someone has a model that they can latch themselves onto. Sometimes just finding someone who matches my style is the biggest unlock for me, because I don't speak like Dom, maybe.
Correct.
I speak like someone else. And so those are 2 other things that can help. Use data to back up the why and use examples to back up the how. But again, number one takeaway, get them recording as early as possible.
Well, and if you're diagnosing a script with a group of people where it's like, what is the core concept of this script? Why do we do this? And they tell you why, and then you play those 3 different ways of delivering that in the house, tie it all together. So it doesn't matter what your sales style is.
Exactly.
That core concept is in all 3 of those examples, and we got positive responses from all 3 customers.
Yep.
Awesome.
And if you don't have like some fancy LMS or quiz system yet, you should work with Grosso. But if you're not going to do that, you at least have folders in Siro that you can send to people for them to go through during their onboarding. What we've even had people do is in their training booklets that they give out, put little QR codes that scan that playlist in Siro.
That's a good idea.
Or that moment in Siro to help you get into that, even if you're doing it offline.
So absolutely incredible stuff. And again, every single one of these courses, I just keep reflecting back at my previous life as a sales leader and what this would have done to enhance my training and onboarding.
Full head of hair if you had.
Yes, exactly. Clearly the benefits of Siro go on, and it's undeniable how much this can enhance every department in your organization, but especially pour jet fuel on your sales department. Again, I just really appreciate the wisdom here so far in the Siro Sales Academy. There's a lot of years of experience in sales and sales leadership. So when we're saying these things, we are customers of Siro at Grosso University. So this is an integral part of our business. And I can tell you, we would be blind without something like Siro. We have experienced firsthand how powerful this is and this can be. Very few people go through our sales training and don't leave it feeling it was the best sales training of their life. Not only that, the post-training molding and support, because of the power of Siro, because of how we integrated into the initial training experience, and how those sales reps leave that training feeling so damn confident and prepared. They go out there and dominate the competition, hit the road running, which is what every owner and sales leader wants, right?
From rep to trainer, I have gotten a lot of feedback from reps where they're like, man, it just seems like you know what the customer is going to say. Like, you told me to go try this one thing in the house. I did it. It was like the homeowner was role playing with me. How do you know that? Siro, we do know what they're going to say. People are incredibly predictable. We've got all the data now.
But again, another great course here in the Siro Sales Academy. Again, Dominic, Joe, Dan, we appreciate you tuning in. And as always, yes, you are a closer.